Hello and welcome to Little Drops of Wonderful. This is my channel to talk about all things knitting and crochet and crafty related. My name is Ali. I live in Kent in the very southeast of England with my husband and my two daughters, one of whom is still asleep upstairs because she's a teenager and it's Sunday morning. It's only about 10 o'clock. And my other one is downstairs with my husband because she's got a bit of a tummy ache this morning. I've also tried to start this several times. First of all, my mum rang. She's not feeling well. She was supposed to be coming for dinner today, but she had her first vaccine yesterday and is feeling a little under the weather today, so she's not coming. Then next door's dog started barking, now stopped, and now I think it's Storm Darcy is here. So it's bucketing down with snow outside, not that it's making much effort to settle, but we've also got strong winds, and I'm sitting right next to the fireplace in our bedroom. So you're probably going to hear a wind whistling down the chimney as well. And when I went to make a cup of tea to have with me whilst I'm podcasting, I picked the tea bags up and went to rip them apart because they were all attached in twos, and ripped a tea bag in half, and tea granules just went, tea leaves I should say, went just everywhere, all over me, all over the kitchen. It's not been the greatest of starts. Anyway, you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Starry Eyes Ali. I also vlog on our other channel, our family channel, which is called This Little Wonderful Life, where I upload, at the moment it seems to be a weekly vlog, just sort of day-to-day stuff, sometimes about crafty stuff, sometimes about other stuff, just general drivel really. What else? Oh yes, timestamps for everything I talk about are underneath this video in the description box, which means if you need to come back to find anything, you can just click on those to navigate your way around. And in the description box I always put really detailed show notes about everything I talk about, and I try to link as many things as I can as well. So if there's anything I mention and you want to find out more, just go into the description box and see what I put there. Right, I'm going to get started. I've got a big note in capital letters on my notes here that says get stuck in, don't waffle. So we're going to talk about finished objects. I've got I've got 4 finished objects today, although one's really like the same thing. So let's say 3 finished objects. Works in progress. I'm going to talk a little bit about the amigurumi along that we're running at the moment, just for fun. I've got a giveaway winner to announce from last time for the ticket to the Nordic retreat run by Zoe of the Pins and Needles podcast and Jenny of Owl About Yarn. I've got some incoming goodies to share with you. I'm going to talk about a few books and things, and finally, right at the end, where I just get to talk about anything I can think of that I might have missed out in the rest of the podcast and waffle on a bit. I am organised, but I haven't really organised the stuff around me. So there's going to be a lot of rummaging around trying to find stuff, I think. Let's start with finished objects. The first finished object I have is my Molly Hue hat, which I now need to find. Okay. Apologies as usual for my lockdown hair. We are still in lockdown 3.0 here in the UK, which means all the hairdressers are shut. Oh, sorry, that was my phone. I had to take it off silent because I was expecting my mum to call, which she did before I started, but I'll put it back on silent. Where was I? Yes, I was wittering on about my hair. Yeah, the hairdressers are closed at the moment, so I can't get the old fringe trimmed. I do my best myself, but I'm no hairdresser. So there's going to be a lot of sort of fringe adjusting and stuff like that. So the Molly Hue hat is a pattern by Shin. She's a Danish designer. She is Shiny Superhero on Instagram and Ravelry. And this is the second Molly Hue hat I've made. I'm really pleased with it because the first one I accidentally made in fingering weight yarn because I wasn't paying attention. You're supposed to hold fingering weight yarn double, so effectively this is a DK weight hat. So I gave the one that I'd made in the wrong yarn to my youngest daughter because, well, when I say gave it, she took it and decided it was hers. And I started again, and I wasn't worried about starting again because I had so enjoyed making the first version. But this time I held the yarn double for the fingering weight yarn I was using, and the second colour I changed to a dark green, which is a DK yarn. I don't know what it is. It was a gift, and I don't know what the brand is or anything, but it's a lovely colour. And this gave me a much higher contrast than my original hat, which I did with the orange and a cream colour. I knit this on quite small needles. I haven't blocked it yet either, by the way, but I'm not sure it needs it. It looks all right without the old blocking, but I hear that blocking can really bring out colour work, so I am going to give it a light block, a bit of a soak, and then just lay it flat probably. But look at this pattern. I just love this. It's got a folded brim, so you knit a plain, a few plain rounds there. Then you knit the colourwork bit, and then you kind of fold it together and knit the end to the top of the pattern, if that makes sense. Then you keep going. It's a paid for pattern, so I won't say tons about it, but it's just wonderful. And this time, because I was worried about gauge, I had to go down to a 2.5mm needle, which is really quite small. I think the pattern was something like 4mm. I am a loose knitter, so I do expect to have to go down a few sizes, but that just seemed very small. But I really like the fabric I was getting, and I also knit the small size this time. But actually I think I would have been better off knitting the medium size, given that I was using smaller needles. But I kept taking it off and trying it on, and I was worried it was going to be too big. But as it turns out, it's just about right. I'm going to put it on to make the hair situation even worse. Let's just make sure I've got the little join at the back. The problem with me and hats at the moment, I do like wearing hats, but obviously my fringe is so long it just gets pushed right down. So it's very much a beanie, because it is probably on the smaller side. I'm not going to be able to see what I'm showing you here, but I shall attempt to give you a flash of the hat. Did you get to see it there? So yeah, very much a beanie size. I think probably my youngest daughter's going to steal this as well, but I could wear it, definitely. It fits very snugly, right past my ears. It's very warm because it's colour work and you've got that sort of under layer of floats. But I think I might knit it again. So I might knit a third one in a bigger size so that I've got it. And I never really knit the same project over and over, but I have loved this. It's possibly because I'm new to colour work, so it's been a bit of a journey of discovery. It's a bit like colouring with yarn, isn't it? If you're a colour work knitter, I'm sure you know what I mean. It's just like, or doodling with yarn and just seeing that pattern emerge. It's just really addictive, and no round is ever the same, which keeps it interesting. And it's only 2 colours, which I can, you know, manage. And I knit continental, so I hold both yarns in the same hand, and I've kind of worked out how to do that, so I feel clever. So this is smug knitting as well. And yeah, I'm just really delighted with it, and I think I might make another one. I haven't weighed it to work out how much yarn I've used, but I've definitely got enough of the green left to make another one. And the orange, I've got this much left. This is a Knitologie by Knitcrate yarn. It was a gift from my friend Annette. And the colour is, I always forget the colour, Citrus Squeeze, which is very fitting, isn't it? So I don't quite know if I've got enough of the orange, because obviously I do have to hold it double. So I'm not sure. I might keep this for something else and find another contrast yarn to go with the green. Might have a look through my DK stash and see what I can come up with, but I definitely want to knit it again. And Shin, the designer who is the designer behind the Molly Hugh hat, she has got a new hat pattern that I wanted to mention, because I've already looked out yarn. Well, I'm considering yarn for this new hat pattern. I'm just going to grab my phone because I screenshot the explanation of this beanie. So she's designed a new hat, and it's called the Min Beanie. And you'll see, I'll explain why I'm going to make it. Here we go. Okay, so the Min Beanie by Shiny Superhero. The name. 1, in Danish, Min means my. So in Danish, this hat is called My Beanie. 2, Min is also the name of Min Yoon-gi, also known as Suga also known as My Bias from BTS. So my two daughters are huge fans of the Korean pop band BTS. If you are a fan of BTS and you have a favourite, it's not your favourite, it's your bias. Okay, so her bias is Suga, which, as it happens, is the same bias as my youngest daughter, Phoebe. He has a big, fluffy, cuffed hat in both blue and black that I want, so why not make a pattern? Yoongi is part of the rap line in BTS, songwriter and producer, and he has also released 2 mixtapes on his own. Where he talks about his struggle with depression, the industry, etc. I still can't believe it took me up until November last year before I really noticed and started listening to BTS. And it's a whole lot more than music. So go down the rabbit hole one day, you won't regret it. Just make sure the dog and the kids are fed. So obviously my youngest daughter has the bias, the same bias. And I thought, well, oh, and I don't have a picture. I screenshot the explanation, but I didn't screenshot the blinking picture. So you'll have to go to Shiny Superhero's Instagram feed and have a look. It's like a chunky beanie hat with a big brim. It's really, really lovely, and it's right up my Phoebe's street. And she loves purple, it's her favourite colour. And I think it's possibly a light worsted weight, the pattern, I can't remember, which just goes to show how unprepared I am, because I should have written that down. But I've got this beautiful Dovestone DK. It's from Bar Ram U. This was a gift from my friend Naomi, who's Cozy Cute Knits, ages ago. I think like 2 or 3 years ago. It's focusing. There we go. This is coming out, obviously purple's a difficult one to sort of show, isn't it? But it's a really nice, rich, sort of jewel tone purple. And I think this would be lovely. And then I've got, left over from my As If tee that I made last year, I've got some, what's it called? Mohair and silk, mohair lace, 72% kid mohair, 28% silk, in the colour Nightmare, and it's from Banshee Yarns. So that's a lace weight, this is a DK weight, and I thought if I held that double, that would be a really nice play on colours. I'm just going to hold it back here because it's not really focusing, and that might be quite nice. So I might swatch with these two and see what kind of gauge I get. Yeah, because like I say, I do knit quite loosely as well, so I'm hopeful. And I think I'm going to make the min beanie. I'll have to retrieve the mohair first by Shiny Superhero, so watch this space. And that's all been living, by the way, in my Piggy's Market bag. I really love this bag with the bikes on it. Love it. When I was just browsing through my phone there to find the screenshot, I spotted another screenshot that I'd taken. So there's a bit of a craze at the moment for a certain pair of mittens that might have been worn by a certain politician during the inauguration, the Bernie mittens, and there's loads of patterns popping up everywhere. This is a crocheted pattern, which I screenshot thinking, I found it, I mean, I don't know, Dan, my husband, knows a lot more about American politicians and things than I do, so I really don't know, but I love it when like current events inspire crafters to just do things like the Harry Styles cardigan, for example, and just, you know, people are just so creative in coming up with things. And I love that these were a crochet version because I absolutely love crochet. So I screenshot it, and because I wanted to see if I had any colours so I could make these sort of crochet colour work mitts. And but I've forgotten to write down any of the other details. So I'll look it up and I'll put it on the screen, and I'll link it below who the pattern is by for the crochet Bernie mitts. I'm sure you've probably seen them. Right, next finished object is my dynamite mitts. This was I thought this was going to be a work in progress actually, but I finished them. So these are for Lilia. It's a pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, and I've made them using some very special yarns. So Kay gave me a gift at Christmas, and it was an advent of 12 50-gram balls of yarn which she dyed, all inspired by BTS, because her daughter Bryony is the same age as my daughter Lilia and is also big time into BTS. So she'd done an advent with all these themed yarns for her and her daughter to open, and the other half she gave to me to open with my daughters, which was just the most wonderful thing. I haven't blocked these yet. The pattern on this, she only released this pattern last month. The pattern on it is inspired by a jumper. Again, I think it was Yoongi again was wearing, with the old shell lace pattern all over it, which is something I'd not heard of before, but now I just seem to spot it everywhere. So she designed a mitten pattern. I'm just going to take my watch off so I can stick this on. I'll roll up my sleeves. By the way, that I'm wearing a dinosaur jumper, in case you hadn't noticed, because there will be mention of a few dinosaurs throughout this episode. Dinosaurs are coming. So the mittens. I haven't blocked them, and the blocking is definitely going to show off the pattern on these a lot better. And I striped them. There are instructions in the pattern for how many rows to do for if you're going to be striping them different colours, which was really handy. And Lilia just picked each colour she wanted as we came to it. So they've all got different BTS names. I think this yellow, I don't remember all of them. I know this yellow one here is called Have a Dynamite Christmas. The orange above it is called Mr. Crackers something. I think that's their manager. And I can't remember half of the rest. I know that this one, oh, what was this one? Sugar topped mince pies or something. Kay's probably shouting at the screen going, no. But look how amazing they look. Like a lovely, beautiful rainbow. I just love them so much, and they just worked out brilliantly. Lilia absolutely loves them, and she's a bit annoyed that I've told her she can't have them until I've shown them on the podcast. Yeah, and they've got a little rib on the thumb. Yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm pleased with how neat that thumb gusset looks. I really love this old shell lace pattern. And they're going to be brilliant, especially now that Storm Darcy is here and it's snowing, so you can go out wearing these. So of course, I had to make a pair for my youngest daughter, otherwise it's just not going to be fair. I'm just going to pop that down there so that I can block them after I've started filming. Put my watch back on. My watch tells me what the temperature is outside. It's currently 1 degree. But I think it feels colder than that. It's going to go down into the minuses later today, and I think it's going to keep snowing for the rest of the week, which personally I find very exciting because we don't get much snow here, and I love snow. And we don't have to go anywhere. It's not like we have to get to work or school, so it might as well snow. We can build a snowman. So I said last time that I was going to move these Dynamite Mitt projects into a bag, but I didn't in the end. I just kept it in the original box that it came in. So I've been just moving this box around the house with all the yarn, and I've got my scissors and my project there and my little thing with my needles, and it just comes with me wherever I'm working on it. It's quite an effective way of crafting, actually, to have a little box full of stuff. Oh, there's something else in here that you might have just spotted then. That's my next finished object. Put that there. So I started on Phoebe's one, and I haven't made much progress. There we are. So she's going to do the same as Lilia and choose each colour as we come to it. And yeah, I have just started. I've made it a bit smaller. I'm knitting this on 2.25mm needles, which is slightly smaller than the pattern recommends. But again, I am a very loose knitter, and I'm knitting it on DPNs. I'm using the longer size DPNs that you can get. I think the average size ones are like, are they 15 centimetres? And I think these are 20, so they're a bit longer. And I just find them, I don't know, I quite like them. It keeps the stitches on, less likely to fall off. And I knit on 3 needles with 4th one to knit. So even though it doesn't divide brilliantly by 4, I just find it feels a bit more stable. But sometimes I knit on 4. Just depends if I can find the needles and what kind of mood I'm in. And I've cast on less stitches. The pattern's only one size for 56 stitches, but I've knocked it down to 50. I'm still going to do the pattern on the same amount of stitches, and I'll worry about the thumb. I'll cross that bridge. I'll cross the thumb bridge when I come to it, and just make it all slightly smaller for Phoebe, because she's only 10 and she's a lot smaller than me and Lilia. So that's the plan. And someone suggested that it might be nice to give it, you know, some stretch and to make it fit, is to do, instead of doing stocking stitch all the way around the rest of the mitten where it's not a pattern, is to do it ribbed. And I really quite like that idea, so I might do that. I will decide that when I get to the point where the decision needs to be made. So that's the Dynamite mitts. I'm I'm at that point in the podcast where I start to question everything I've just done and go, oh, should I start again? Or was that all rubbish? I really hope it's not been unbearable. Well, if you're still with me now, hopefully it's not been too bad. Okay, the next finished object is tiny dinosaurs. At the moment, so I need to do a bit of an aside here. At the moment, in this community, on this channel, I'm running the Eldao, Little Drops Are Wonderful, Ami along. I've been talking a lot about amigurumi. I make a lot of amigurumi, which is making little cute crocheted creatures. And I made a video at the end of last year about all the amigurumi I'd ever made, and a couple of people had suggested like amigurumi along would be fun, and I agreed. So we're doing that now. Basically, it's running until the 31st of March. There's a Ravelry group which I'll link below with all the information, and there's also a hashtag for Instagram. So if you don't use Ravelry, then you can join in by using the hashtag. And at the end, I'm going to pull everything from Instagram and from the Ravelry thread. There's only one thread for finished objects and chatter and everything. And it's a really chatty group at the moment. I've been in there. There's some really lovely things popping up. Mainly just for fun, but I will draw a winner at the end. So it's really good fun so far. There's loads of lovely creatures popping up. And also, after the Ami along is all over, I intend to like save all the pictures across Instagram and Ravelry of all the finished critters and creatures and other things. Knitted things are welcome as well, by the way. It doesn't have to be crocheted. It can be crocheted, knitted, as long as it's a 3D thing, either a creature or an object, you know, a cute 3D object, knitted or crocheted. And I'm going to put them all into one montage and show it on the podcast. It's going to be good fun. Anyway, that all to say that let me just check I haven't missed anything about the amigurumi along. I'm trying to make a conscious effort to actually pay attention to my notes, which I don't normally do. No, that's everything. I have made so far for the Ami along 2 tiny dinosaurs. It's a free pattern by Lucien Crochet, and I have made 2. They need eyes. They don't have eyes yet. They can't see. 2 tiny dinosaurs. They are so cute. And there's a story behind why I made tiny dinosaurs. So, Lilia, my eldest daughter, has a boyfriend who she calls Diplodocus. I'm not entirely sure why, but he's 6'2", so I'm guessing it's something to do with him having, like, being tall, like having a long neck. So for Valentine's Day, she wanted to give him 2 little Diplodocuses, dinosaurs in love. And if you have never seen the dinosaurs in love craze, you need to head over to TikTok mainly and just type in dinosaurs in love. There's some hilarious videos. It's a little girl singing about dinosaurs falling in love. It's heartbreaking. And all these people have done interpretations of it with dinosaurs. Anyway, including crafters with little crocheted and knitted dinosaurs. That was a tangent. Where was I going? So anyway, she wanted me to make the dinosaurs. So we browsed Ravelry together to try and find patterns. So I've got lots of dinosaur patterns now saved in my favourite. But this one really appealed to me. First of all, it was something like 99p to buy the pattern. It was really, really cheap. And second of all, you can adjust the size of dinosaur you get by just adjusting the needle and yarn, which I'll talk about in a minute. Needle, hook and yarn. And it's all made in one go. So you start at this end and you just follow the pattern all the way down. There's no sewing other than sewing in the ends when you're finished. It's made all in one piece and you just stuff it as you go, which was really appealing to me. And it worked brilliantly. I made both of these on the same day. They were really quick. This one was harder because it's so small. I used DK cotton yarn. I actually used, this is not the colour obviously, it's Rikorumi DK, which I bought in Hobbycraft a couple of years ago with the intention of making chocolate orange covers that look like Christmas puddings, but I never did. So I've used up all the green now, but I've still got red that would have been for the berries, and I've got a load of brown that would have been for the Christmas pudding, and white, but I never made them in the end, so I probably won't now. I've gone off the idea. Chocolate oranges don't hang around long enough in this house to need a cover for them anyway. And yeah, so I had that green, and this one, so it's DK and a 2mm hook for the tiny one, which was, yeah, that was hard going on some of the stitches, especially when you get into the really narrow bits and you're trying to, like, you know, crochet two together and it's like tiny and you've only got a tiny hook. That was quite tricky. This one was a lot easier. I held the DK cotton double and I used a 3.5mm hook, and I just had a bit more wriggle room for this one to get my hook round. So this was definitely an easier size, but this one was entirely possible. And they're so cute. I might have to make some more. They're just adorable, and they're such a quick little project as well. By the way, they're called Gregory and Button. That's what Lilia has called them. And yeah, that's all there is to say about the tiny dinosaurs, other than the fact that I've got 2 tiny dinosaurs and I'm wearing dinosaurs. It's dinosaur-tastic. Before I move on to works in progress, I wanted to talk about something related to a very old finished object. I finished this, I think, I don't know, beginning of last year or the year before. It's the Full of Minis hat by Barbara of Knitting I Love. And last episode I was trying to decide on what pom-pom to use, and everyone was very helpful and gave me lots of opinions and help and advice. And in the end I went for the one that my instinct told me, and a lot of you agreed, which was a darker one, like this. But the pom-pom is from lovely Hannah at Little Creative Sheep. She makes them. That's her details. And it occurred to me that actually I needn't have worried. There's the pom-pom. Because they've got poppers on them. So I've sewn the popper onto the hat, but so that if you need to wash it, you can take the pom-pom off. But obviously, if I want to change it to a white pom-pom, I just need to unpop it and pop on a white one. So it's interchangeable. Didn't occur to me. God, those flakes are massive. Wow. If I can, at the end, I'll put in a little bit of footage of the snow so you can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, so thank you for all your help and advice on the pom-pom situation. I can go out and wear this in the snow now. Actually, I need to take a picture of my finished Molly Hugh hat. It'd be good if I could get that today with all snow and stuff, wouldn't it? I might try and do that after the podcast. Okay, let's move on to works in progress. My wildflower and honeycomb socks I spoke about last time. I was a bit stuck on them, and so many of you, thank you so much for all your comments and your messages and your suggestions and emails. You all had absolutely brilliant ideas for what to do, because I had got stuck because I'm making the 56 stitch version, which means on the front of the foot I have 28 stitches, but the pattern repeat for the pattern is 8 stitches, and obviously 8 doesn't go into 56. And a few of you hit on the answer. Every one of you had a great suggestion, and in the end I emailed the designer, and when she got back to me it just seemed really obvious and I felt really stupid, but she was so helpful, the designer. She got back to me the same day and she basically just solved my problem immediately, so she was great. The pattern's by This Handmade Life. It's called the Wildflower and Honeycomb Socks. It's got a very simple sort of flower pattern that runs down it. And the answer was, for the 8 stitch repeat to fit the 28 stitches, is you do 3 repeats of the 8 stitches, which takes you up to 24, and then you do half again. So you just, the remaining 4 stitches, you go back to the beginning of the 8 stitch repeat and you do the 4 stitches, and that's how it works. And I was like, well, yeah, that seems obvious now. I should have worked that out myself. And so many of you pointed out that that was the case. So yeah, so I'm back on track. I am past the gusset decreases for sock number 1, and I'm on my way to the toe. And for the second one, I've still got to pick up the stitches and get back to the gusset decreases. I knit my socks concurrently, so I knit a bit on one, and when I reach a certain point I go back and get the next sock to a certain point. So I'm going to put sock 1 down now and go back to sock 2 and get it to the same point just past the gusset decreases, and then I'll probably do sort of 10 rows until I get to the toe, and then I'll do the toe on one, the toe on the other, and then I'll kitchen them at the same time. So I'm really looking forward to it. The yarn is by a dyer that no longer dyes. It's Little French Meadow. It's called Lemon Drizzle. It's sparkly. I've had it balled up forever, like in a tight ball, for at least 2 years, and I was getting a bit worried that it might lose the stretch. and I don't know if it has or not. It feels okay. It doesn't feel perhaps as plump as it might once have been, but I'm hoping that it will still fit all right. It doesn't feel like the yarn is in any way difficult to knit with, and once I block it, it should all plump up as well. But I'll let you know. It does, I have to say, it does feel like it's lost a little bit of its elasticity, but actually I'm doing that. I'm not sure that's true. Maybe just a little bit, but then I don't know. As long as the finished product looks nice and fits well, I don't really mind. But I'm just really glad to be able to use my yarn and get these socks knit. I've been trying to knit these socks for years. I think I started them a couple of years ago when I first started knitting socks, and I kept messing up, and I realised that I just wasn't at the stage where I could knit them, so I left them, and they've been sitting in my Ravelry thing, you know, as not finished for ages. So I really wanted to get these done this year, so I'm really pleased to have made such good progress. So thank you to everybody for your fantastic help. Oh, the bag, by the way, is by Conchetta at Butternut Handmade. Isn't that beautiful? It's perfect sock size bag. She got a thing in here. There it is. Butternut Handmade. I love it. Right, next work in progress. It is here. It is with me. I have not shown this on the podcast before, but I have talked about it a lot. It is the Harry Styles cardigan. This is a collaboration project with my mum. So my mum has done the knitting portion because she likes knitting, you know, different textures and patterns in small amounts. So it worked really well for, you know, what she enjoys. And I am doing the seaming up, which I really enjoy. I love sewing things together and weaving in ends and all of that. So that's my end of the bargain. So she's finished the knitting. It's all knit in pieces, and even the rib is knit separately, and then you sew it on. It's supposed to be a very kind of, it's supposed to look like a cobbled together giant crazy cardigan. So I've sewn together the back panel pieces. I'm not going to show you all the pieces because there are so many and it's so massive, and it's all organised into different bags for different sections. But I just wanted to show you how it's looking and the pattern and everything, because I've not been able to really do that yet. So the Harry Styles cardigan. Harry Styles was a member of One Direction. He was photographed at a gig or a rehearsal or something wearing this crazy cardigan. And knitters on TikTok were trying to recreate it, and the designer was so inspired by the creativity of people that they released the pattern. It's a strange pattern, and it's not always the clearest pattern, and you know, but it's a free pattern of, you know, a very expensive piece of design, and it's allowed people to actually make the actual Harry Styles cardigan. So we got all the yarn. This is the little sort of illustration. So you can see there how it looks. They're not actually squares, they're rows. You knit rows, and then you seam the rows together. And then there's a thing you do where you leave the ends, because at the end you tie them so it looks like almost it's tied together haphazardly. But it's not really. And it is massive. It's supposed to be absolutely massive. It's being made though for my almost 15-year-old daughter. She'll be 15 next month. And she does like to wear massively baggy things around the house and so on. But I am very concerned at how baggy it's going to be. But this is the back. Shut up and show them. This is the back. So this is one bit like shoulder. Then you've got 4 panels in the middle, and then you've got the other sort of shoulder side there as well. So it's very wide, but it's also quite short. So it's not like a flattering garment. And I'll just show you. So if I put this around my shoulders, you can see how wide the back is in comparison to my actual back. But the arms are supposed to sort of start sort of almost just above the elbow. So it's supposed to sort of be that kind of baggy thing. So the arms will come off the elbow down here, and they're very long. So initially I thought I was going to take a panel out of the back and just make it a bit less baggy, and then I decided that no, I wasn't going to do that. I'm just going to make it as per the pattern and hope for the best. She's going to love it if it's massive, and she'll wear it, you know, she's not going to wear it out. It's going to be something she wears at home. And then all of these ends you're supposed to bring to, can you see they're all here? you bring them to the front. I haven't got to the bit where it tells me what to do, and then you sort of tie them and cut them, so you've got these little kind of tassely bits in between all the squares, or some of the squares. We've not used the exact colours. We use the colours, we've used the colours, but they're more muted, they're not as bright, and I really love how that looks. I really like this green and the sort of mustardy yellow and the very sort of subtle orange, and I like that red a lot as well. It's a kind of burnt orangey red, and then we do have a brighter red for the cuffs and for sewing together, which is this one, so you can see it's quite a bit brighter than that. Well, now I'm showing it on the camera, it doesn't look brighter, but it is. In real life it is quite a lot brighter. So that's the Harry Styles cardigan. I've been filming as I've been sewing it together. I was going to make a little Willality TV type vlog about it, but I don't think I'm going to have enough footage, or it won't be interesting enough. So I think what I'll do is, once I've done it and the cardigan's finished, I'll stick it into the podcast where I talk about the finished Harry Styles cardigan. I'll do a little vlog in that podcast type thing. So that's the Harry Styles cardigan. Watch this space. The next work in progress that I wanted to talk about is my hand warmer design. I've talked about this quite a bit over the past few months, but you know, I have a day job and I'm homeschooling 24/7, it feels like at the moment. So it's kind of slow going. Turns out that designing something's really hard. I don't think I'll be making a habit of it. The idea was to design a sort of beginner's mitten pattern. I'll put them on to show you. Ignore the fact that it's got a little tag, it's just to remind me what size hook I used. I wanted to design a pattern that was very much for beginners, but probably not for like total beginners, but so that I could do a sort of crochet tutorial series that would take you from learning how to make a chain and a magic ring and a granny square, which is a really good way to start learning crochet, is a granny square, and then a few other techniques, and sort of do a series of how-to videos, so in the end you can be a complete beginner and maybe by the end have a pair of crochet mitts. So this is my first prototype. They are just these are actually a bit small because I made them with a 2.5mm hook. I'm not going to do that for the actual design. I'm going to make them with a slightly bigger hook. So I also used a very variegated yarn, so it's very hard to see how the actual stitches come together. But basically it's 2 granny squares sewn together in a certain way, and with crochet ribbing around the top, and then a narrow crochet ribbing around the bottom, and then just a little tiny rib around the thumb to finish it off. It's very simple. And as with all of these things, if I make something and the girls go, "What's that?" and I go, "Oh, it's hand warmers. Can I have them?" They're, you know, and they try them on. "Can I have these?" I know that I've struck gold. And they've both done that with these, and I've told them Phoebe can have these ones because they're a bit smaller, so she's going to get these prototype ones now that I've shown you them. Lilia's going to get the next set of prototype ones, which I'm making with a bigger hook and different colours. I'll show you some of the granny squares I've got in progress. It's living in a very unpractical bag. I think I'm going to need to get a bigger bag for it. It's actually not a project bag, it's a bag that an apron came in. I have a lobster apron that my friend Lou gave me, and it came in this little bag, which is perfect, but the more I sort of start to add to it, the smaller it seems. So I think I'm going to move it to a bigger bag for this design. And I've got my little book in here with all my notes, oh so many notes and scribblings out. And the next prototypes, I've got this lovely yarn that was a gift from my friend Ellie. So I've done like a version with alternating rows of colour. This is beautiful yarn, it's so soft. And I've done another version where you've got like the alternating rows of colour, a slightly different order. And then I've done some plain, this is the next one I'm going to be working on. It's that green again from the Molly Hugh hat. This has done me well, that green. So I'm going to be doing a plain green version as well. And the stage that I'm at the moment is I've got the pattern written out. I've got it all on, I wrote it out on the computer. Here it is with all my notes. And I'm now going to go through, make them again several times and just see if there's any techniques that I'm using that could be better. Like, for example, when I'm sewing up the sides, is that the best way to sew up the sides? Is there a better way that might look better or neater or give a different finish? When I'm picking up stitches for the ribbing, am I doing that in the easiest and neatest way? Is there a better way that I can be doing it? I'm really bad though at going to look at other techniques because I get worried I'm going to get influenced by something. And I want it to be completely my own thing from my own head. You know, but you do have to also think about techniques and think, is this the best and neatest way? If I'm going to be showing people how to make this, I want it to be something so that when it's finished I can say that's the best way that I know of to do it. So that's the stage I'm at the moment. I'm also trying to think of a name because that's fun. So we had a bit of a discussion, and in the running so far, Phoebe thinks they should be called the Heath or the Heathland mitts, because where we go walking and where we've been walking over this past year, nearly every day is the local heathland just up the road from us, and that's where the girls would be wearing those kind of hand warmers most of the year, spring and autumn and winter, probably not summer, for climbing trees and just walking about. So she really likes the idea of Heath or Heathland mitts. And Dan, my husband, thinks they should be called Little Drops of Warmth. And I like both of those. I've got a few other ideas as well. But that's the fun bit, isn't it? The thinking of a cool name for them. I've still not started my Ziggy Interrupted, by the way. I'm just going to keep mentioning it every podcast so that I'm holding myself, I'm reminding myself to keep thinking about it. I really want to start my Ziggy Interrupted. It's a crochet pattern by Sandra Paul of the Cherry Heart podcast. I've got all the yarns, I've got the bag, everything's ready. I just haven't started it. Hopefully in the next few months. Okay, let's move on and announce the winner of the ticket for the Nordic Retreat. So the Nordic Retreat is an online yarn retreat, crafting retreat. I don't know if I'm describing that right. It's 3 days. It's from the 19th to the 21st of February. And lovely Zoe and Jenny gave me a ticket to go. I've never been to a knitting retreat ever. So I'm very excited about this. I know it's all online, but it's kind of nice because I'm not going to have to leave the comfort of my own home. I've just informed Dan that I will be away for the weekend doing things. There's a few things I won't be able to do just due to family commitments and stuff over the weekend, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be talks and knit and natters and stuff like that, and I think there's going to be a marketplace on the Sunday, and I've got a ticket to give away. And last time I said to enter, just make sure you comment with the words Nordic Retreat in your comment, and many of you did, and I drew a winner this morning. And I took a picture of it on the computer because you can use a website called comment picker. You put the URL of the video in, and then you give it the phrase that you've asked people to say, and then it identifies how many people used it and randomly draws a winner. Here we go. The winner was Karen Carter. It's a name I recognise a lot from the comments. Well done, Karen. You have won a ticket. And she left a really lovely comment. She not only gave me some help and advice on knitting the wildflower and honeycomb socks, she also gave me her thoughts on the pom-pom subject for the Full of Minis hat, and she agreed that the dark one looks great, but she did like the two white ones looking like a bunny rabbit as well. And she also said, you're never too old for two pom-poms. After all, you're not old at 40 plus, you are just 30 plus VAT plus shipping and handling, which really made me giggle. And she also complimented me on my hair. So Karen, I'm very pleased you won. Because anyone who compliments me on my dreadful lockdown hair deserves a ticket to a Nordic retreat. So if you could just get in touch with me either on Ravelry or Instagram, Ravelry's probably better, or send me an email, which is the best way, which is littledropsofwonderful@gmail.com, with your email details. I'll pass that on to Zoe and she'll get in touch with you with your ticket and everything you need to know to join in, and I will see you there. Thank you to everybody that entered and for your lovely comments. I'm still catching up on comments from the last podcast. I'm working through them slowly, so every comment that comes in I'm so appreciative of, and I try to reply to I try to reply to a selection as I go through, and I always give them a heart as I read them. But I like to work through them and make sure I take them in and read them, so sometimes it takes me a little while because I'm not just going through going heart heart heart. I'm actually going through and making sure that I'm taking in things that everyone says, and I screenshot a lot of comments, and I've got a little notebook where I write down suggestions or things that people have mentioned or recommendations, and I just love it. You are so helpful, so kind and so chatty, and yeah, I feel like we're one lovely happy group of crafty mad people. What am I talking about? I'm such a saddo, honestly. Incoming things. Okay, I need to go and get my charger. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back and show you some of the goodies that I've got that have come in. As usual, I'm a bit worried about time, so I might leave some of the incoming stuff out to talk about in future, because otherwise, yeah, it's going to be far too long. I'm running out of space on my memory card as well, so I've really got to speed up. So the first incoming thing I wanted to show you was some yarn. Lovely Marta, who is Auntie Marta on social media. We did a swap last year or the year before, and just as a cheer up parcel, she sent me a load of goodies from Switzerland, lovely chocolate and treats and stuff like that. But she included some hand dyed yarn. I can't read anything on the label. But I just wanted to show you it because it's so pretty. Yellow's my favourite colour. Marta, I think, is going to have some sock patterns coming out soon. She's already got some sock patterns. So I think I might make a pair of her socks with this yarn. I'm holding the label up in case anybody out there can read it. Yeah, so thank you so much, Marta. Oh no, what does that mean? I think my camera might be overheating. I'm not sure what that symbol means on the screen. It means shut up and stop talking, I think. I also wanted to share with you some fabulous booties. Now I'm going to hold them up, but I'm also going to put a little bit of footage over the top of me wearing them so you can get them at their full glory. These were a gift from lovely Becky and her daughter Avalon, who watch this podcast. They sent us some amazing things from America, lots of fun things. We've been chatting on email, and she made these booties, which hopefully you'll see on the screen now, using a free tutorial on YouTube. I can't remember what she said it was called, so I'll make sure I link it all below and put it on the screen. Actually, I might have it there. It's from a free pattern on YouTube by Stephanie Z, so I'll try and find that and link it underneath. But thank you so much for these, Becky. I wanted to show them because I know a lot of you enjoy knitting stuff like this. They're great for gifts. You can knit them really quickly, and I definitely want to try knitting a pair myself as well. I can see these being quite an addictive thing to make. So thank you so much for those, Becky. And what else did I want to show you? Oh yes, so I bought some writing paper. I already bought some writing paper from these guys. Yeah, I bought some before. It's from Cottage RTS, hand designed stationery, greeting cards and gift wrap. They're on Etsy, and I bought some writing paper from them in 2020, and I really loved it. It was like Christmas writing paper, and it was lovely, and it comes in a little cellophane bag which is compostable. And I ordered another set because I just thought it was so beautiful. And the set I've ordered this time is the B set. I'll just take a sheet out. I've got 10 sheets, and if you get 10 sheets you get 5 envelopes with it. And the B, they do all different designs, and it's, I don't know if you can see, but it is glittery. And on each of the sheets it's got that beautiful little bee design at the top. It's really lovely, and it's really nice quality paper as well. So I just wanted to share that. I've run a couple of pen pal letter swaps in the past on this channel, which have always been fun, and I'm definitely going to do that again this year. Got to work out the best way to do it, and it was, so if you want to have a look at previous ones, we call them the simple snail mail swap, so you're only swapping a letter, that's it. And it was so much fun. We've done it twice and definitely want to do that again this year, so I'm all ready. I've got a pen pal on the back of that as well. So Anna prepare to see bees in your next letter. What else have I had incoming? Oh yes, okay. So this kind of relates to the Ami along as well. I ordered some cotton. It's also a bit of a work in progress as well. So I ordered some cotton, which I'm not going to show you in great detail, but as you can see, I've got an orangey brown, a dark brown, 2 types of blue, and some pink. And this was for a very specific project requested by Phoebe. Every year on my girl's birthday, they always request something handmade, usually a creature, an amigurumi creature. This year, Lily has requested 2 things because I didn't do it on her birthday last year thinking she had grown out of it. And apparently I was wrong. So I'm making her a little sorcerer or a wizard from the Tiny Kingdom book. And this is all going to be part of the Ami along. I'm making it as part of the Ami along. So I'm making the wizard, no, sorry, not the wizard. What am I talking about? The jester. I'm making the jester on the front cover of the Mini Kingdom book. There's the title. Woo, I've spoken about it quite a few times before. And also a book that I've spoken about a million times before, and by the same publisher, is Dinosaurs, Mammoths and More, Prehistoric Amigurumi. So I made Peaches the dinosaur from here for Phoebe's birthday last November, and Lilia has requested Brad the Brachiosaurus. I've already made a start on Brad. It's living in my Highland Coup bag by Julie over at So Unique. I absolutely love this bag. This was actually a gift at the end of last year and I love it. It fits 2 amigurumi books and a ton of cotton in it. It's absolutely stuffed full. So I started on Brad yesterday. So I've got almost a fully formed head and I've got his 2 eyes here, which I now need to do the sewing. I need to sew the eyes on before I can stuff the head and finish it. So that's my job for later today, but I'm trying to do it in secret when Lilia's not around, and that's a bit difficult because she's always around until she disappears to her room to chat for hours with her friends. So yeah, so in this bag I've got everything I need to make the jester and Brad the Brachiosaurus, and then the yarn that I just showed you that I'd ordered is for something Phoebe has requested, and that is Max the Strawberry Eating Mammoth. So you can see I've got the orangey colour and the dark brown. The pink is for his ears and feet, and the blue is because she couldn't decide what kind of blue his eyes should be, so I ordered both. However, I had ordered the cotton yarn without realising something was about to happen. I had an email from a lovely lady called Gillian who said that when she first started crocheting about 5 years ago, she didn't really know what kind of yarn she was going to be using or anything like that, and on impulse she bought a ton of cotton yarn, which she hasn't used because it's not the kind of yarn she really uses, so it's just been sitting in her stash doing nothing. Would I like it? Could I make use of it? She knows I like amigurumi and I make a lot of stuff for the girls. You know, if I could make use of it, she'd be happy to send it. So I said, yes, I would definitely make use of that. I buy a lot of cotton. I use a lot of it. I only use cotton for my amigurumi. So yeah, I would definitely use it. Thank you very much. And then yesterday, I don't have it up here because I can't physically lift it up the stairs. I will take a video to put over whilst I'm talking. A box arrived and I was astounded. The girls helped me open it and it is stuffed full of the most beautiful colours, assortment of different brands and everything of cotton yarn. I have enough in there to last me for the rest of my life. It inspired the girls to start asking me to knit them cotton cropped tops, which I'm definitely going to do. So my favourites on Ravelry are now also full of little crop tops that I'm looking at to see if I can make those for the girls from cotton. And there's so many colours in there. There are so many amigurumis I can make with it. I'm just thrilled to bits. I've just got to think of a really good way to store it somewhere. So thank you so much, Gillian. What an amazing gift. And she also included a blanket that she hadn't finished. Look at this. It's all made with cotton. It's absolutely, she said it's not finished and there's actually a bit of yarn still attached just here, but she's only stopped here and all I need to do is finish it up to here, just along this row. And then I can weave in the ends and call it finished. Now, she suggested that I could unravel it, which obviously I'm just not going to do. She also suggested it could be used as a pet blanket. Phoebe liked the idea of that because she wants to give it to next door's cat who frequently visits. But she also quite likes the idea of having it in her room. And I like the idea of it brightening up my back seat in my car. Can you imagine when I'm driving along in vlogs talking away and this is in the background? Or it's parked in the car park and people are walking past my car going, look at that blanket. It's amazing. This is not getting frogged. This is going to be loved and used for years to come, Gillian. It is beautiful. I don't know if she's used a pattern. It looks like she's done just a few granny squares and different borders all around. But honestly, it's stunning and the colours are beautiful. And the yarn attaches the drops Paris. So thank you, Gillian. What a massive surprise that was yesterday. Everybody was excited by this giant box of cotton yarn. It's so funny. Okay, I want to show one more thing. I've got very little memory left on my camera and it has a worrying symbol that seems to be saying it's about to explode or something. It also seems to think it's going to run out of battery even though it's plugged in. So I'm having all kinds of camera problems. But I wanted to show you a very lovely thing that my mum brought round on Friday. She was having a little sort round and she found a cardigan that was knitted for me by my dad's mum, so my granny, who I never met and who never met me because she died 2 weeks before, or 3 weeks before I was born in 1977. And my mum says I wore this all the time. You can see it's probably stained, it's got a zip in it. And it's just this beautiful little hood like that. I have to see if I can find a picture of me wearing it. And yeah, so she said she was giving it to me so I could have it for safekeeping to put away as kind of like a bit of family history. I never met my paternal grandmother because, like I say, she died 2 weeks before I was born. She had tuberculosis her whole life, and the doctors had advised her never even to have children, but she was so determined, and she did have my dad. So had she not been such a determined person, I wouldn't be here today. So this is a really nice little piece of family history. Thanks, Mum. Right, I'm going to move on and leave a lot of stuff out because I'm very aware that I've talked for far too long. I'm going to move on to books and stuff, which is going to be a very quick one. This is where I talk about books I'm reading, things we're watching and so on. And I wanted to share a couple of things. One's an incoming actually. I had a lovely gift from Melissa, who happened to have 2 copies of Zoomigurumi 7 and had noticed when I talked about all my books in my Zoomigurumi video that I didn't have Zoomigurumi 7, would I like it? So she sent it to me, so thank you so much, Melissa. This has got the most adorable patterns in it, but I think my most favourite one, let me see if I can find it to show you. Hamish the hamster. It's another strawberry eating creature. Look at his cheeks. Oh, I love it so much. So I think Hamish the hamster is in my future. I basically have all of the world's supply of cotton yarn, so I can make anything I want from here now. So thank you so much, Melissa, for that. I also had another book that I wanted to talk about very quickly. This was sent a little while ago from Lynn. Sorry about that. My camera overheated, which is a very bad sign for how long this podcast is going to be. I'm really sorry. Anyway, I was in the middle of telling you, it's about 20 minutes later, I had to sit and wait for my camera to cool down. I've started adding the remaining stitches on the cotton blanket whilst I was waiting for the camera to cool down. But I was in the middle of telling you about a book that was sent to me by lovely Lynn. It was quite some time ago, and that Phoebe and I have been picking up together every now and then. It's by Rebecca Bella, or I'll show you. Can you read that surname? It's called Note to Self, and it is an illustrated book. I'll read you the blurb. Jam-packed with handy tips, bite-sized wisdoms and thoughtful illustrations to help you navigate feelings like anxiety, stress, worry, guilt and sadness. Within these pages you'll find practical tools and insights to help you tackle your tricky day-to-day emotions. And the illustrations are adorable. So this is from a section where it gives you techniques for breathing, and all the people in the book are illustrated in this same way. They're really, really lovely. And you get all types of little, oh, what's that page? I haven't reached that page yet, so Let's find another person. There we go. All kinds of little tips, and it's very short. You can dip into it or you can read it cover to cover if you want. Phoebe and I have been reading it sort of in order, and like things like this where it gives you techniques for waiting for anxious feelings to pass. That really helps us. You know, we're homeschooling at the moment. That is stressful. We're stuck indoors. They can't see their friends, and the news is scary. And even if you try to avoid the news, you know, you'll still hear snippets on the radio when you're listening to the morning show or in the car, or you'll hear stuff from friends, and it's very hard for them as children. And this has been a really, really lovely, helpful, easy to digest. I'm trying to think of the best description. Just simply written little book of advice, really. It's like having a little friend next to you can dip into. And we've been picking this up every now and then just to read a few pages together. She doesn't let me read it on my own now. She says we've got to read it together. So I wanted to share that. Thank you so much, Lynn. That was a really, really kind gift that you sent. Fiction-wise, or actually non-fiction, or reading book-wise, I'm just about finished. I've only got a few pages left of Claudia Winkleman's Quite. I've really enjoyed it. It's been very, very amusing to read. I was worried because it's not a story, it's just a collection of opinions, really, that I would get bored of it, but I really haven't. And she really, really does make me laugh, and I've really enjoyed this book. It's been brilliant. I'll probably pass that on for other people to read. And next, the one I had next that I was going to read is the next in the series of kind of the Cave Bear, the Earth Children series, which is Valley of Horses. As you can see, it's a massive book. The text is very small as well. It fills the pages top to right to the bottom. It's going to be a big commitment. So before I start this, I'm going to read a bit of a shorter book. And it's one I've mentioned a few times before. It's by Raina Wynn, and it's The Salt Path. It's a true story of how the author and her husband, who is terminally ill, decided to walk the 630-mile southwest coast path from Somerset to Dorset via Devon and Cornwall. So I picked it up the other day and read the first chapter, and I was hooked right from the start. So I think I'm definitely going to read this after I finish Claudia. We've been watching Drag Race. We've been watching both the UK and the US version. We love Drag Race, really enjoying that. And we've been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with Lilia, which she's really enjoying. Dan's seen it all before, but it's first time for me and Lilia. It's all a bit bizarre and I can't follow half of what's going on, but we are enjoying it. And we are watching Scorpion as well. And that's a very easy watching, easy on the brain type of programme to watch. So those, and the girls have finished Raven's House, or Raven's Home, sorry. We're waiting for the 4th series. So we re-watched all the previous series whilst we've been waiting, because it's just so fun. We quote it all the time now as well. It's just such a funny series. If you've got kids, like my kids are 14 and 10, and they love it. It's on Disney Plus. It is brilliant. And we're waiting for the 4th series to come out. So in the meantime, they're watching Sister Sister from the 90s, which I remember. It's brilliant. Oh, that's hilarious as well. Do they make programmes like this anymore? I'm not sure if they do, but they've really been enjoying that. And honestly, it's so funny. Roger, hilarious. I've completely forgotten about Sister Sister, so it's really nice to revisit it, because I'm always like, I had an outfit like that. I was a teenager in the 90s. Okay, and finally, I'm going to do this as quickly as I can because I'm about to run out of memory. Shop news, all of my new smooth pins have sold out. I've ordered a huge batch, but it won't be here till March. I'll keep you posted on that. There's still tons of the regular non-epoxy ones left in the shop though. So thank you to everyone who has bought them. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting my shop. It's really kind of you. And thank you to everyone that's bought me a nice cup of tea via Ko-fi. Yeah, my memory card is flashing at me. I'm gonna have to delete something. But before I do, thank you so much to everyone that's done that. It's so incredibly kind of you. Thank you. Okay, got enough memory to finish, with apologies. You're still here and it's been like 2 hours. Strictly prizes have all been sent out, bar 2, which will be sent out this coming week. I'm filming this on Sunday, so hopefully I might go to the post office tomorrow if I have time to parcel them up today. If not, it will be later in the week. And there are 3 people who've not been in touch, 3 winners. So if you are Burrow Knitter, Stasia Crochet or Betty's mum, go back and watch episode 71. If I don't hear from you, I'll draw another winner, another 3 winners, or however many winners for however many people I don't hear from the finished objects. No, I'll draw it from the some from the finished objects thread and some from the chatter thread, if I don't hear from you by next time. So that's it. I've left a load of stuff out to shut myself up, so I probably missed loads, but I hope you enjoyed that little chat about all things knitting and crochet. I hope that wherever you are staying happy, getting lots of crafty time, and that you are safe and that you are well. These are very tricky times. Yeah, fingers crossed that by after Easter maybe we might actually have a bit more freedom and I might actually be able to get my hair cut. So until next time, happy knitting, happy crocheting, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.